Namaskar and welcome to Kundaliconsult. Today we'll talk about an interesting topic, free will. But before we start, let me request you to share my videos, subscribe to my channel so that the true knowledge of astrology spreads to people and you continue to get my videos every time they are uploaded. Also, I am now on the Telegram channel, and in fact in Telegram channel I put up regular updates about once or twice in a week on various aspects of astrology, on the transit of planets that happen. So if you have Telegram app with you, do subscribe to my Kundali channel where I am much more interactive. Now coming to today's topic, there's a lot of time questions raised that your horoscope is determined at the time of your birth, because from the position of planets at the time of your birth, your Kundali is formed, and if you are good at astrology, you would be able to predict all the major and minor events in a person's life, which means in some sense that your destiny and the events that are going to happen in your life are predetermined. Under those circumstances, the question often comes to you is that if everything is predetermined, if everything is destined in that sense, then is there no value for our wishes and what we want to achieve in life? Well, in astrology, actually, there are 3 houses out of 12 houses in your horoscope, which gives you the free will and determines what action that you take, and depending on that, the larger purpose of your life moves in that direction and your future births. But before I describe that, let me tell you something else, and that's about water. Now, in our Vedic astrology and in Vedic culture, it is said that life and universe is formed out of 5 tattvas or panchbhutas: Agni, Bhumi, Vayu, Jal and Antariksh. Now each of these tattva are also correspondingly put into the 12 houses of your horoscope, and each zodiac in the horoscope carries a certain tattva, and therefore Jal tattva is also carried by certain houses. Now why I'm talking about Jal, that is water. Now you may find it interesting to note that a gentleman called Mendevir or Mendade, something like that, I'm not remembering the exact name, he won the Nobel Prize in 2008, I think, in medicine and psychology. And few years later, he created a flutter in science when he said, water has memory. And he established certain experiments to show that water has indeed memory. Now with that article, floods of articles came in various science journals which tried to show, people trying to show, yes, indeed they have found that water carries certain signature of whatever stages it passes through. Now this is very interesting. Move from modern science to long time back when our rishis used to be there and they were formulating this Vedic culture. Now if you remember, and you would have seen in many mythological serials, that when a rishi wanted to grant a boon, or more it is shown as when he wanted to give a curse to somebody, he takes water in his hand says some mantra, and then sprinkles the water. When you have puja at your house, the Panditji comes and asks you to take water in your hand and do sankalp. Why is it so? Are the two related? Well, according to classical astrology, classical Indian text, Vedic text, water has the ability to absorb whatever is there in your mind, and it can be virtually programmed to deliver that. Which means when you are taking water in your hand to do sankalp, you are transferring that energy of your wish that I want to do this puja, and that's where the function of water comes in into the sankalp. So it takes your wish and conveys that to the nature. So when a powerful rishi used to take water in his hand, give a curse and then sprinkle, he used to transfer his power into his wish for a curse and give it to that person, to nature, to have that effect. So that's the connection of water with respect to wish, and therefore in astrology to your free will. Now in the 12 zodiac signs, there are 3 classical signs which are the Jal Tattva, and they are Cancer or the Karka Rashi, Scorpio or the Vrishchik Rashi, Meen or the Pisces. So wherever these 3 houses are there in your horoscope, in those houses, nature gives you the free will to put an effort to what you wish, what you want, and then accordingly get your results. Now, I'm not talking of the mundane things, like getting a job or getting a huge amount of the overall nature and Paramatma's purpose is not that. Paramatma's purpose is an overall direction to life. And therefore, through these 3 houses, you have an absolute free will to determine how you feel, what you do, what faith you have. And I'll explain a little bit more. Karka Rashi or the Cancer sign is associated with moon. Moon is associated with emotions. So wherever Cancer sign is there in your horoscope, with respect to the significance of that house, you would have the ability to maneuver your emotions. Of course, if there are planets there, if there are aspects of planets there, then they would put their own constraints. But still at the end, destiny in Karka Rashi, in Cancer sign, that is in Cancer sign, gives you the ability, if you put your effort, to control your emotion with respect to that house. To give you an example, if suppose the Cancer sign is your 5th house. 5th house is related to kids, 5th house is related to fame, 5th house is related to your overall education. So in these 3 aspects, there are many other significances. I am giving an example. So in these 3 aspects, destiny has given you your free will in terms of how emotional you are towards the deeds of your kids, towards having kids, towards how you behave your kids, towards your education, towards what you feel about fame, whether you want to have fame, how much fame you want to have, and at what level. Of course, again, you have to put effort depending on what planets are there. But nature does give a free will. So Cancer Rashi gives you the free will with respect to your emotional intelligence, and emotionally what you do, wherever, in whichever house it is in your horoscope, to the significance of that. The second house is the Scorpio sign. Now, Scorpio sign is associated, in a Kal Purush Kundli with suddenness, with death, with big chronic problems. So, wherever Scorpio is there, it gives you the free will to react to the situations of death, to the situation of transformations in your life, to the situations of big problems in your life. So, for example, your Scorpio sign is in your 11th house. 11th house, amongst other things, stands prominently for your income. So, with respect to income, how do you deal with the problems? How, if there is a sudden dip in your income or sudden huge increase in your income, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with the problems when they come with income? How do you deal with transformation, your income from one source to another source? And it is a house of Mars. Mars is also for your courage, for your valor. So it essentially tells you, Scorpio sign, wherever it is, tells you how do you deal with the courage within you to the big problems and transformations in your life, to whichever house it is associated with in your horoscope. The third house of Jal Tattva or water Tattva is Pisces. Pisces is the last sign of zodiac. Is the house, amongst other things which a lot of people don't know and don't tell, is house of faith. 12th house is also house of moksha. Why moksha? Why house of faith? Because when you think about dying, you don't know in which darkness you are going. Whether do you really believe in life after death? Do you feel there is another world? It is about your faith in something which you have not seen. It's also for your losses. It's also for your imprisonment in various situations of isolation in your life. And therefore, wherever Pisces is there in your horoscope, wherever Meen Rashi is there in your horoscope, there it shows or it allows you a free will with respect to your faith. So if there is a problem with respect to that house, it gives you the free will to have a faith on whether you can come out of it or not. And if you can program your mind that you will come out of that problem, you would. For example, if Pisces is associated with your third house is associated with your younger siblings, with your courage. So if you have any problem related with where you have to deal with courage, where you have to be courageous, or with problems with your siblings, it depends on your faith, your inner faith, whether you will be able to come out of it or not. Interesting part is, people who know Reiki, in Reiki there is a famous remedy given which dealing with problems. They say keep 2 glasses of water in front of you, and in one glass, when you have big problems, tell all the problems and throw that water away. And another glass, tell whatever good wishes you have about future and drink that. Where is the connection? The connection is this. Because Jal Tattva grants you the wishes, it gives you the free will. So in Reiki also, you are transferring to water your negative thoughts, your negative situations, throwing it away with that belief. Transferring to water in another vessel your positive thoughts, your positive wishes, and absorbing in you. So at a very deep knowledge level, actually, many of these things, whether it is astrology or Reiki, they combine somewhere. And that you would come to know only if you go to the depth of that knowledge. So in your horoscope, find out whichever house, where, in which house is your Cancer sign or Kark Rashi, in which house is your Scorpio sign or Vrishchik Rashi, and in which house is your Meen Rashi or Pisces sign. In those three signs and whatever their significance are, destiny has given you the free will to program yourself to come out of problems of these areas or get into further problems in these areas if you keep that negative mind. So entirely, it's not completely destiny. You do have some amount of free will which nature gives you even in your horoscope. I hope you have liked the video. As I requested you in the start, do share it with your friends and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that the true knowledge of astrology reaches to everybody and you keep getting my videos. Thank you. Namaskar.